You did say after the commercial break, right? Sorry. Hey guys, welcome back. JRSL Live here on BExposedRadio.com. I don't know today's date. I don't keep up with the dates anymore.
Today's May 27th.
Wednesday, May 27th. Yep. It's 73 degrees. It cooled off a lot. Thank you guys for tuning in again. We have a great show. Why are you laughing? That sound cocky?
No.
Oh, you still laughing at your grandmother texting you? Grandma shouldn't be texting.
That's my aunt.
First and foremost, we want you guys to follow us on social media. Our Facebook fan page is JRS Live, and it's the same for Instagram as well. And if you guys want to call in, the number to the studio is 410-702-5657, or you can text us at 443-642-9403. I'm your host, Jonathan Rashawn, and chilling with my, I guess you would say you're my co-host now.
Always been. What you mean?
The assistant teacher.
Whatever.
You want to give them your social media information, Brandon, before we get started?
Brandon Antonio Jones on Facebook. Brenda's03 on Instagram.
That's a lot.
Oh, shut up.
That's a whole lot. And today we have with us professional fashion wardrobe stylist, Mr. Brian Robinson.
Yes.
Robinson.
Hey.
Robinson. I just
murdered my name.
From BDR Styling. You're the founder of BDR Styling.
Yes.
So we're going to jump right into it, Brian, because we have a lot of people, I'm sure, that's going to call in and text us throughout the show with questions for you. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, my name is Brian Robinson. I am from Baltimore, Maryland. I've been, as far as for fashion styling, professionally styling since July 2012.
Okay.
It's been not that long, but a long journey for me. You know, I feel like I've been styling for like years, but you know, when I talk to people, it's still very fresh. You know, they're surprised at all of the accomplishments so quickly in the career. So, you know, I definitely take it in stride. But as far as with my location, I'm from New York to Baltimore for most of my work. So it's typically 6 months here, 6 months there. But for the most part, as of right now, I am located in Baltimore. With styling, I would classify it as fashion and wardrobe styling because there's a lot of styling types that you can do.
Okay.
But definitely have a passion more for fashion and wardrobe styling. And from what it's been for the most part, celebrity styling, even though I don't like to classify myself as a celebrity stylist just because of the fact that it can put you in a box where the everyday person would be afraid to book you just because they feel as if you're unobtainable. Okay. And those rates are going to be ridiculous. So I just like to classify myself as a fashion stylist.
Okay, Brian, and before we go any deeper into your interview and ask you some more questions, we want you to lock in your social media information and your email address and website as well for anybody who needs to follow you or book you.
Absolutely. Instagram is at BDR Styling. Facebook is official BDR Styling, and YouTube is also official BDR Styling.
Okay, cohesive. I wish mine was all together like that. I'm all over the place. You might get a little bit of this, a little bit of that. So
You're running 2 pages at that.
So something just stuck out to me as you said. You said you don't like to put yourself in a box and label yourself as one thing. So fashion wardrobe stylist. Tell us exactly in detail what you do. What does that title consist of? You doing as that?
Absolutely. Being a fashion/wardrobe stylist, basically I have those consultative conversations with my clients. From that point, every person that I work with from the beginning until now, their personalities are completely different. So those consultative conversations are definitely needed in order for both the client to get a good vibe from me and to understand exactly what I'm looking to bring to the table and vice versa. From that point, the most important word in this industry that begins with the B is the budget. So, don't I know? Yes, absolutely. We need to come up with a realistic budget that's going to suit that client and also be realistic for me when I actually scout looks.
So let me ask you, Brian. So with the budget, do they tell you what they're working with, or do you basically do a consultation and say, "Hey, this is what you need"?
With the initial consultation, we definitely discuss what's workable for them, and then I can see from that point exactly what's doable, and definitely put them in a predicament where they would be able to see exactly with that particular budget what they'll be able to afford and what kind of looks we can get on a continuous basis.
Okay.
I will say, which we'll probably touch on a little bit later, that it is a little bit different depending on who the client may be. You know, certain individuals that I work with that are on television that you can tune into every week, you know, have certain pleasurable options that come along, but just by their name.
Okay, you want to throw out some of those names of the clients that you work with some of the celebrity?
Yeah, absolutely. One of the first big name clients that I work with that a lot of people know from reality television is Erica Mena. I've also worked with Sin Santana, Malaysia Pargo from Basketball Wives LA, Elle Varner, that a lot of people love for her R&B music, Drew Hill, who's been around for years, who's also from Baltimore. In addition to that, Lilianka and Johnny from Kamorley Simmons' House of Fab, that was on Style Network.
That's exciting. That's a lot.
It is,
okay.
And it's a lot more. But yeah, I take every opportunity with stride, and just look at it as a true blessing.
Okay, so let's take you back to the beginning, Brian.
Okay.
We have a lot of people who are into fashion, like we discussed prior to us coming on the air. What was your beginning like? Where did you start?
It was so tricky because, like I said, I've been professionally styling since July 12, 2012. That date is stamped in my head. But I've been putting together outfits for my whole life, but I have never considered myself to be a stylist. Prior to BDR styling, I was with Open Fly magazine, which is arts and culture, fashion, and entertainment. And it was just one day when I actually went to one of the photo shoots when the creative director was actually in charge of it. And that was the first photo shoot I've ever been to. And I just saw the inner workings, how everything was done from hair, makeup, and styling. And, no discredit to the creative director, but just when I saw how they were piecing together certain outfits, in my mind, I was just like, I would have did this, I would have did that, and then from that day, it was just like a light bulb was clicked in my head. And I was like, I really have some kind of liking for this. And I really could see myself styling. And then from that point, it was just kind of like the doors were aligned. Everything happened for a reason. I transitioned from being the executive editor for the publication and then went into the role of lead stylist.
Oh, wow.
Yes. From that, as far as with my big opportunity that came along with that, I actually got a call one day from a modeling agency that informed me that Erica Mena was doing her book cover that day. And they asked me if I wanted the job. And I'm like, hell yeah, absolutely,
Exactly.
But I only had about 5 hours to collect looks, and they iterated to me that they wanted it to be regal, sexy, clean.
So let me ask you this: when somebody asks you to pull looks for any client, how many looks would you suggest that people pull or bring to the table?
What I'll say is that you should definitely pull the more the better, because when I first started styling, I would pull about 5 to 6 looks, and then when you are pulling those looks, it could take a long time. You have to visit multiple boutiques, designers, and showrooms, and you put your all into it. But then when you have these looks in front of a client, they can skim through them in less than a minute, and they may love them, they may hate them. So I always recommend that you bring more looks, at least a bare minimum of about 16.
Okay.
Because at that point, you'll have a variety.
And this is just for one event or one photo shoot?
Absolutely.
That many? Okay.
Yep. And one thing, just to kind of touch on briefly, is that when you're doing these photo shoots, just make sure that you have a mood board and make sure that you have a clear, concise vision.
Okay, let's pause right there, because that was one of the things I was going to ask you. A lot of people, and this is for the people that are just getting into styling. I see a lot of people just posting outfits that they like, or just things that they want to put people in, but they don't have a clear vision or understanding of what else they need to do. So let them know what a mood board is, Brian.
Absolutely. A mood board is when you're having these ideas flow through your head, is basically taking them from your head and putting them on a piece of paper, putting them on an Excel spreadsheet or PowerPoint. And it's giving you everything from the hair and the makeup looks, also to the wardrobe. We have to make sure that the wardrobe is pieced together accordingly to fit with the accessories, to fit with the shoes, to fit also with the true personality of the model that you're going to actually be styling. Because one mistake that some people make initially is, I love fashion, I love fashion, I love fashion. And then you say, I want to be a fashion stylist, and then you take your thoughts and the way that you dress and put that on another person, and you completely forget about their personality and completely forget to infuse what they like into what you like in order to make it happen.
Right, and that's a big thing too. So of course you're going to put your own flair to it, but that is very important to understand your client and what they like, and not dress them according to how you dress every day. And I see a lot of people doing that as well. So anybody out there that maybe getting into styling, keep that in mind.
Yes, it's very important.
Okay, so once you have your mood board in place, what do you do with that mood board?
From the mood board, if we're on a photo shoot, It's very essential that you make sure that you communicate each part of that mood board to everyone involved with the project, being hair, makeup, and also the photographer. And then at that point, you also communicate this to the model so they have an understanding of exactly what's going to happen. Basically, with that mood board, you want to make sure that those looks are as concise as possible, because from the mood board, if the photographer presented it to you or if the hair or the makeup artist presented it to you, those looks should be followed through to a T. So basically, once those looks are pieced together and once it's time for that photo shoot to happen, everything should run so smoothly because everything is aligned accordingly. Because one thing, as you kind of touched on, is a lot of people love fashion, but they'll do a photo shoot and they'll do a look that is part of a fall, winter effect, and then give you some spring, summer. And then if you present this to an editorial, if you want to be published, they're going to clearly explain to you that this doesn't make sense. There is no true story that's flowing with this mood board. A mood board should always flow and create a story, a silent story from point A to point Z.
Now, with the mood boards that you're creating or just putting stuff together, are you suggesting that these people would be a season ahead, or?
I would definitely say always think outside the box.
Okay.
Find inspiration in everything that you do. If you love fashion, for instance, with me, I can find inspiration just from looking at the color of the leaves change. I can find inspiration just to looking at amazing architecture, excuse me. I can find inspiration just from walking past a merchandise window and just seeing exactly how I can do something different in order to make it truly my own.
Now, one word you just said that's very important with being a stylist or artist in general is being different.
Absolutely.
How do you find yourself different from other stylists in terms of creating new looks or creating new trends?
I have a lot of stylists that I look up to that have already been in the industry, but at the same time frame, I don't let their styling affect my vision. I see what they've done in order to perfect their craft, and I find my own ways of incorporating my originality in order to make sure that I stay true to myself.
Okay, I like that. And for all you stragglers that's just tuning in, we're interviewing Mr. Brian Robinson from BDR Styling. He's the founder of BDR Styling, professional fashion wardrobe stylist. If you want to call in, the number to the studio is 410-702-5657, or you can text 443-642-9403. And I'm excited to say I finally got a chance to work with Brian. I'm the type of person that will say, hey, I want to work with him, but never reach out. So thank you
Absolutely.
for all of your expertise and help with that. That was really exciting.
Yes, those projects are awesome.
Now, for anybody who's inquiring about maybe working with you locally outside of being a celebrity stylist, how does that work?
Basically, my email is everywhere. It's on my Instagram. It's on my business Facebook, on YouTube. There's business cards floating around everywhere, but it's btransformed@bdrstyling.com.
Okay.
My email is checked daily, either by myself or assistant, and I contact everyone back. Just because, like I said, every opportunity I look at as a blessing, and I just want to make sure that I'm touching out to everyone that's interested in working with me.
There you go, guys. He's very down to earth and humble, I can say. A question that I always ask, and this is kind of off topic, but a question I always ask all of the artists that come into the studio is, how does social media and being active in the community play a big role in what you do?
Oh, it plays a major part because I'm connecting with people that are in states miles and miles and miles away who are avid lovers of my work and vice versa. One thing I will say before touching on that further is if you are in this industry, hair, makeup, fashion, any kind of nail technician, styling, anything artistic, please make sure that your Instagram is not private. Because if you're looking to get booked, no one is going to take the time to hit I need to follow you.
It's funny you said that because somebody actually just sent me a message today and said, hey, I need you to unlock your Instagram for the same reason.
Absolutely.
I never realized that.
Yes, I mean, from a business standpoint, just because, people love your work, and then you'll be surprised if there are multiple people skimming your page that really love your work. That's how a lot of times my bookings come about, because people have found my page and they love what they see, and then they send me an email. I just did a photo shoot on Sunday. No, actually Monday, because Sunday was my birthday, so I wasn't working that day. But on Monday, I actually just did a photo shoot with a really, really, really professional and amazing photographer from Atlanta, and they just found my website when they just Googled fashion stylist in the DMV. And it's just good that, once you have a good following and a great name, just what comes along with it and great opportunities.
It's funny because I was actually browsing somebody else's Instagram, and I never
Sorry, this was just a snippet of the show, but you can check out JRS Live every Monday and Wednesday at 8 p.m. live right here on BExposedRadio.com.